Hello and welcome back to another ECAC Apex Legends broadcast. I'm your host, Nerdy Bird, and joining me to call all of the action is going to be PT Loser. And PT, I know that last week I unfortunately had a case of strep throat, so you were here to be able to witness everything that went down. Would you mind catching me up a little bit here? What team really kind of stood out for you last week?
I would say San Jose State was one of those kind of they got second place within two matches, but they dominated eliminations the entire way. And so they had some positioning issues that they had at the end that they ended up either getting third partied or not winning. They ended up winning the game, but overall, I would say San Jose State had a really dominant start, and then Katu Apex as well won the first game, and then the third game they dominated as well. They did really strong work overall.
And currently we're taking a look at Katu Apex. As we were discussing before the broadcast, it seems as though San Jose State last week was very strong in their exchanges and really only found themselves getting eliminated out when they were getting third-partied. Is that right?
Yeah, third parties definitely were the way that they came out of the arena, and it was very unfortunate. But based on like movement alone, you can really tell kind of the confident teams. And in Katu Apex, Southern Arc Blue a little bit near the end, they started getting some confidence, but San Jose State just throughout the entire three matches, they were looking really nice.
Well, we'll see if San Jose State, because during week 2, they did find a match victory for themselves. We'll see if they're able to repeat that this week and find one. I'm still going to be holding on hope that perhaps GFU will end up being usurped at some point this week, and maybe Moonlight manages to get a map win. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds. But if you're like me and missed anything last week, or you have to hop out or join late into this broadcast, you can always be sure to check out the ECAC Twitter. It's ECAC_esports. All of the match results will be posted there post the conclusion of this broadcast. At the latest, they'll be posted tomorrow. And speaking of which, we can actually take a quick look at all of the teams that we'll be having for this broadcast. There's 20 in total. There's also 20 more in a different lobby. And the first is Katu Apex, followed by Apex Legends Red, Roaring Eagles, GCU Moonlight, GFU Esports, GU Apex, Husson Green, Lakeland University Apex, LIU Apex, and Muskingum University Black.
And the following teams are going to be JJ Apex, Southern Arc Blue, San Jose State. That starting roster looking really nice. Trine University Blue, ULL Apex Black, UMT Grizz Copper, USM Huskies Blue, Weber State J University, WFU Corsonic, and WSU Esports.
And in case you are wondering why these teams have designated colors underneath them, that is so you're able to find them on our mega map that we'll be pulling up at different points in time throughout each of the 3 matches that we have this week. And this week in particular, the map that's used for our rotation is going to be Storm Point. Last week it was Olympus. We have Storm Point this week for week 4 and Storm Point again. So hopefully these teams are ready to battle it out here on this map, because they'll have the opportunity to learn a lot. They'll have to fix the issues that they had and quickly come back in week 5 to play it all over again. And then our other repeat map, which will be our closing map for our initial 6 weeks here, will be Olympus once again for week 6. And keep in mind, it's the top 15 teams that move on into playoffs, and there's 40 in total competing. Only 20 are shown here with us today. And then the top 10 of those 15 get additional bonus points for being in those top 10 seeds. With that being said, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'm still holding on to it. You didn't have to hear me say it last week, but you're going to hear me say it again. My prediction, GCU Moonlight. Until you end up winning a match, I'm hanging on. I'm here with you. I am your supporter. My prediction is GCU Moonlight. Well, what about you, Chase?
Honestly, I would say GFU, because I got to hold strong to my consistency there. But honestly, like genuinely, I've seen a complete change of pace of San Jose State. They've had really strong showings the last couple of weeks, and especially last week with their 2 runner-up games, and then just insane amounts of momentum and just movement that I've been seeing from them. They're just in sync with each other. They're doing really good.
The one thing I do want to comment on when it comes to San Jose State is that across the board, with any game title they compete in, week to week, there's always
winner, one victory, royale, whatever it may be. She wants it.
Indeed, that's what I'm requesting. I mean, consistently we see GCU make it into those top 3. We had a sort of dark horse experience during week 2, or actually week 1, where we had Wazoo come through and take a first place spot, and they were just, we didn't see anything of them, and then all of a sudden they were there, and now they've disappeared once again. So perhaps we're going to have another dark horse experience this week. We have crossed that middle period. We're in week 4, so halfway point is gone. At this stage in the game, if you are not getting elims, even if you're not finishing first, but if you're not finding a lot of elims, you're not slowly working your way up that 20, up those 20 slots in the leaderboard, you're going to start really struggling here. So watching these VODs, improving on what you can, and figuring out what your secret sauce is. Do you need to be looking for more third parties? Are you engaging too soon, engaging too late? Those sort of improvements need to be found now, because we're going to hit the period where it's too late by next week. If these aren't fixed, it's too late. We're going into week 6 after next week, and everything's done and dusted as we move into playoffs, and where you end up is where you end up. Bottom 5, you have to say goodbye.
And they're loading up into the spaceship now, and they're going to be launching into their respective regions. And again, Stormpoint is one of those maps that you usually have this reliance on crafting and all kinds of stuff. But one thing to note is that they've removed crafting shields in general from the game. So there's no longer the ability to craft. We've seen in previous weeks crafting up the shields, crafting up of all kinds of things. But Apex decided to remove that completely. And that's not just from last week's map of Olympus, that's from Stormpoint now too. The crafting system just looks differently on Apex, and so this will be a very interesting style to see how this develops the professional and semi-professional scene.
And it looks like, as far as POIs go, we're congregating a little bit around Antenna, and then we also have Connote Cave being focused on. Looks as though we've got an exchange fire happening up near North Pad, perhaps between a couple of teams. However, I'm shocked that we don't see more teams over near Barometer or the Mill, as we're looking currently at GCU, Moonlight, Lil Baka, Order, Bookworm. Best of luck to you 3. Little Baka, I hope you're not used as a literal human meat shield. We're just going to gather up some equipment and get ready. We can also see Order and Bookworm are on the opposite side here, so hopefully no one gets pinched off too soon.
I completely agree. You wanna get an early fight, get those early eliminations, but if you get injured on a third party early, you don't have the shields that early fight, Musking Gun Black getting some shots fired, Prowler in hand, going into a Catalyst, and they might even be able to pincer this player. They're really underpositioned. X-Link very, very low. Infamous trying to get involved here. Some shots cracked on the shields. Will they be able to get a fire here? And Wraith.
Muskingham Black is wanting to take control of North Pad. I mentioned it when we looked at that mega map initially, that there was some teams congregating near this upper left corner of the map. Decent loot is found here, what we would consider kind of the A tier, not the God tier loot, but pretty gosh darn good nonetheless. And they're chasing down whichever team they are initially encountering, picking up some new supplies. I think the other squad has decided to fully back off, not wanting to get eliminated too soon. We do know that for a fact, one squad has been fully eliminated thus far, and a little bit earlier than I would anticipate, as round 1 still has 3 minutes and 30 seconds and change remaining. And another squad has been fully eliminated from this round as well.
Yeah, 2 full squads early is crazy, but not really unexpected per se, especially when the first map comes around. It's a lot of high eliminations, a lot of risk, and hopeful for the reward. Also, one thing to note about Apex as well is they added like an attribute slash I don't know how to describe it. Perk system is the way that one of our analysts described it. Is that there's more of a perk system now. There's different like things you can choose from. I'm not very comfortable with the system just yet. I'm going to look into it more and more as we kind of see. But that's one of the things that they also removed the shields from, is they added the crafting system for that kind of reason. Is they try to replace the shield crafting ability and then added the perk system. So
Southern Arc Blue is in a scary spot currently. They're just outside like Wall and North Pad area south of that. And I saw, at least on the map, there was about 3 or 4 squads in this area, and they're walking around in the open. I'm not entirely positive this team is aware that there's other people watching them. They're starting to look down. They definitely heard something for sure in this area, trying to figure out which team is encroaching on their space. Checking down from the high ground, a strategy we've seen a lot of teams using lately.
Yeah, they're pinging the space, the car of some kind, Trident, I believe is what it's called, or and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do here next. But again, without a Wraith on your team or another potential ADS character where you can hear if they're in the area, they just have to play off the sound cue. But one thing also to note about this map is there's a lot of ways to get shield. There's so many different, beasts of burden, the prowlers, the flyers, and then also the ability to farm inside these bunkers as well. It looks like USM Husky is taking a fight here early. Very low on shields here. We're seeing, and again, it's very consistent that you're going to see these gray, blue, and maybe a purple shield because they don't spawn floor loot as well for shields. It's just you get what you get, and then you have to build it all the way up. There's no RNG early loot with shields now. They don't spawn on the ground. You can't craft them. You have to do damage to enemies in the arena to earn such a reward.
USM Huskies Blue currently looking down. They might have caught just a little hair of one of the members of that 3-squad group still alive down in the lower left. Not positive if they did. Again, we're still near North Pad. These teams are wanting this space, and we see so many name tags. One gets cracked, drops down below for trying to get some extra cover. The round is closing. The ring is starting to shrink. For all 6 of these members that are currently in this area, they're in dangerous territory.
Yeah, dangerous territory, and it looks like one of these players is getting pincered, the other one's getting fired on from the back. It is just all-out carnage here. There's only one member of the Huskies Blue left, and Muskingum Black, they have 2 members remaining, but there's a squad just on the other side of this ridge. They have to be careful here. Try to grab the banner, maybe.
Infamous is dangerously low. They're just lurking along the edge of the ring, trying to duck and cover as they're getting pressured from the high ground once again in the hill spaces where there is natural cover provided by the maps. A little bit rough. Gonna walk through just very open space and pray that they can make it into safer territory.
Yeah, fortunately, the zone's not too much damage right now, so they can kind of play on this edge.
Yes, it is a light sunburn, but nonetheless it is dangerous to want to walk this fine line between being in safety and a situation where if a team starts to encroach on your territory, they're going to force you into that zone where, sunburns lead to radiation poisoning over time, I should say, lead you to skin cancer over time, so maybe wanting to be stuck up against the wall is not the best place to be for some of these teams, and it looks as though Muskingum Black is still going to continue to skirt this fine line. Finally, they're choosing to rotate further in.
Yeah, rotating further in is a good idea before the next zone might be encroaching on them as well, and that'll be more than just a light sunburn. But they have these nice little gravity cannons that they can utilize for potential rotates, and a nice crack from the Mastiff there. They get a knock, but is it enough? They're gonna finish them off and see how it goes from here. No way to scan where the enemy players are, no ash in their composition, but they're going to find out and try to scale. And it looks like it was a 2-man squad. GU Apex is down now to 1 member. Word abuse.
We can actually, it was this squad skirting again along this ledge, probably trying to go grab their teammate's banner to perhaps try to resurrect and not be a solo player. Again, just having to lurk when you're by yourself is always scary. There's 16 squads remaining, and this one player constitutes one of those squads currently. Let's transition over to the mega map, take a look at where everyone is currently standing, and see if there's any fights that might be occurring here very soon. And it looks like... Ooh. We've got a few teams. GFU is definitely going to be encroaching on the territory of those teams over by Pylon. That's going to be scary to say the least, because GFU likes that high ground. They're probably trying to take it away from whichever squad is currently there. However, when they don't have it, they struggle a little bit, so we'll have to wait and see how that fight ends up shaking out.
It looks like this next zone is near a Trident and a survey beacon. A lot of these teams can now keep rescanning it and finding out that this center zone is quite literally the center of the map, and it is a very
I wonder what the odds are of this map closing in at the direct center, but that's not a statistic I normally have. Ring 2 is going to close in roughly 15 seconds. Currently, there's still 15 squads standing. No, I did not actually intend on that working out in the way it did, but this is... We had early eliminations, the 2 squads getting knocked out very early. Not something we typically see. PT did mention on map 1, a lot of teams are trying to figure out, you know, are we going to go for top squad? Are we going to go for top eliminations? Some of the teams, they're very bloodthirsty map 1, and I respect it. However, with that being said, it's slowed down drastically as we figured out that the middle of the map is the safe zone that everyone's going to be aiming for. It means these edge skirters might be able to live a little bit longer, as they... Literally going from the edge to the middle for everybody creates possibly the longest distance to have to walk, unless people are just deciding to go on really strange pathing and play cleanup crew and third party consistently, as we have another group eliminated. That brings us down to 14 squads left, and we have begun round 3.
I agree, and again, this is a massive map as well. Just to reiterate, this is probably one of the biggest maps in rotation, and so it's very crucial to use these graviton, or the teleporters, and make sure that you're using the rotations of the map. And it looks like we have a fight from Lakeland University. They have a member going down. The Bangalore is no longer in the fight, and now it is, I believe, GFU taking on GCU Moonlight. Our 2 teams fighting it out, trying to figure out how the rotations are going to work here, and they're going to decide to flail away to live to fight another day. And Lakeland University ends up getting back their Bangalore player and winning the fight. Musk and Burr locking in to secure some eliminations for their team and get that squad wipe.
I'm trying to figure out where this team is currently lurking around. Is it by... I think possibly... Are we at the cusp of Jurassic Park? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. We're going to take a look at Hydro and Venom currently exchanging fire towards another team. It looks like Hydro, yes, able to survive, get the shields back up, but look behind them, that orange wall, it's encroaching. Are we going to also get third-partied by chance? This is Katsu Apex now looking for these kills. Yes, they come in, they pressure, claim the space, take it away. That is now down to, we are now down to 11 squads.
Down to 11 squads, and Martin really taking advantage of the fact that that team is just all by themselves. There's only 2 members remaining, and they just had so much pick damage overall. And now they're going to be using this ultimate to maintain space control. We talked to Brandon just last week, and he mentioned how useful this ultimate is to scale members and keep them in the zone because of the stun potential of it. And we're seeing that very transparently here. ULL Black down to 1 member. It's Venom. Just trying to live, stay in this game, and get those crucial placement points for his squad. And he's getting shot by a triple take and goes down.
Katsu Apex still managing to stay alive. We saw our dark horse of Wazoo they were going in for a fight. I think they ended up getting third party.
Yeah.
2 got knocked for sure. I'm not positive if they're even still remaining, as we have 8 squads left. 35 seconds for round 4. Getting into dangerous territory. We're dead center of the map. There is lack of cover in this center space. This is where things get a little hairy, because you have to pick your poison. Are you going to stay inside of a building until the last possible second and basically let the other team create a blockade in front of you? Or are you going to remain outside and try to pick off those players that are running for cover as that ring starts to close? It's playing with fire either way. Once again, GCU Moonlight, they're still alive, and we've made it to the last 7 squads remaining. You can see that ticker. Round 4 has now finally elapsed. The ring is closing. We're getting close to the final ring. Just one more and some change.
Obaka sensationally low here, and they are the player that's gotten them into this positioning. The Valkyrie is really strong when it comes to rotations, getting those early placement points. Now there's 6 squads remaining. Martin gets an elimination onto TD's Diamond, and now they're going to try to figure out how to get some more eliminations here. Eliminations is what matters the most in this situation now. And this is, yeah, your GCU Moonlight. They're looking like purple shields. They're doing good.
Yeah, but like I said, are you going to be that team that stays in the building and gets pressured from the outside and then has to meet the blockade of other players who are already out, and we're just waiting to basically catch you off guard? Because GCU is looking forward further into the ring. I don't think they're aware that there's another squad coming in for their right flank that is expecting them to have to eventually run out of this building. You can see the ring is coming up at the back end of this building. In 1 minute, they can't stay here. They're definitely going to run into a third party, and I think it's going to bite them in the heels.
I think so too, but it looks like there's some players lurking on this underside, and if they just get spammed at all with some utility or get creeped on from the high ground, it's going to be lights out for them. Very, very interesting spot to be playing into.
Currently looking at Apex Legends Red, who's ducking and dodging above, up and around a building. We have some... I think this was our squad that was lurking over on the ledge. They decided to come up, and I think one gets knocked. 6 squads are still alive, so teammates were probably like, bro, please don't do that, and unfortunately hold a lot of attention a little too much, and I don't think they'll be able to be revived. Apex Legends Red getting pushed into this building. The ring is encroaching on the space again. You can see that final ring's location is identified on our map. 6 seconds remaining before everyone starts taking basically what I'd consider environmental sunburn damage.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Apex Legends Red as they're trying to encroach in this building, but there's knocks on either team and a potential res happening here in the building, and Dawes is there. And Katsu Apex, the team that has been a standout for quite some time and is high on the leaderboards. I believe they're top 5 minimum here. Gets the res and finish. Now Bookworm and GCU Moonlight are rotating towards the south side here, and they're trying to figure out if they can get some eliminations on these remaining squads. 3 full squads. Spam happening here from GCU Moonlight. Playing around this Catalyst wall sensationally. They gotta discover where these last 2 remaining teams are, and if they decide to fight, it's a beautiful third-party timing.
I'm not sure if the first wall we saw from Catalyst was one of the GCU players, but the second one is providing them a decent amount of cover. However, like we mentioned previously, it doesn't stop bullets, and they are being peppered long range. Someone's trying to figure out exactly where they're standing. Lack of intel about figuring out where they are is great, but if they get one touch on you, they're going to start trying to pressure you more and more. And you can see there's one squad to the left of GCU, and then there's Shadow and company over here on this platform who has line of sight on both of these teams. So for sure, whomever's left standing here is going to get third-partied by this team that's just lurking, lying in wait for their moment to strike.
And GCU Moonlight is getting exceptionally low here. Only a few HP remaining on both the players. They're trying to sustain through this fight, get the shields off. Order got the shields off, but it's not enough. He goes down. It is now 1 squad remaining, Southern Arc Blue, and it is just like you mentioned, Katsu Apex takes the victory because of that beautiful third-party timing. Wow.
With that being said, we're going to throw to a quick break, give everyone an opportunity to grab some water, rectify any problems that they were having. So don't go anywhere. We're back here with more Apex, and we'll be returning to Stormpoint once again for map number 2. See you in just a little bit.
Welcome back to the ECAC broadcast for Apex. We just closed out map 1 with Cat2 Apex once again taking it for being crowned our map 1 champions. They did last week as well. With that being said, that final ring, things got a little bit messy. There was a lot of risky plays being made. I would never really hope to see someone come flying from already being spotted on a ledge, jumping up onto high ground and leaving their two teammates for death. I mean, you get some intel. You can tell them, hey, there's 3 squads up here, and then you get completely obliterated. Whether the juice is worth the squeeze in that instance, I'm not entirely sure. With that being said, if you're just now joining us, you can be sure to check out the ECAC Twitter page, which is ECAC_esports, to find all the match recap details for Match 1, Match 2, and Match 3, as well as last week, and all the other game titles that ECAC covers. So we're going to be returning on to Stormpoint. Chase, do you have any, I guess, sage words of advice for the teams now that we have concluded map 1?
I would just say, just have a little bit more fun. I mean, that's just, the camp counselor and me, working with kids and things like that. But I feel like some of these teams, they have a little bit too much pressure on themselves going into map 1. And map 2, they even have more pressure if they don't perform well. And so just have a little more fun. You're playing video games. I know it's college esports, but you gotta have more fun with it, and so I hope that these teams just have a little bit more fun while they're playing here. But Cat2 Apex, yeah, that is very true. They took map 1 last week and this week, so they had a really strong start, really playing for those late game positioning, having that angle right on that third party when there's 3 squads remaining. And then we see GCU Moonlight not really take advantage of that Valkyrie stun that we saw happen. I think that they needed to be immediately able to push onto that team and make that fight happen faster, so that way they're not taking too much damage and getting third party delayed.
Well, I'm pretty sure your prediction has not changed. Mine has not either. I'm sticking with the GCU Moonlight squad. GFU, they didn't win, so if you want to stick with that prediction as well, it makes sense. Katsu, Apex, you've had multiple map wins now at this point, as has GFU. I'm wanting to see some other teams start to perk up a little bit more as we move into map number 2. We talked about map 1 being, you know, this is the setting the pace, their play style. If you don't think you're going to be able to be one of those top 3 squads, then you're playing for picks. At this point, if you played for picks and it didn't work out, maybe playing to survive might be the strategy for map number 2. We saw early eliminations of 2 squads, and then it slowed down dramatically. It took until the 4th ring for us to drop below that 15 squad mark. Let's see if that story continues into this map. I predict that most likely we're going to see probably more teams surviving, and those early eliminations not likely to come for map 2, just because if you're bloodthirsty map 1 and bloodthirsty map 2, you'll probably get punished in map 2.
I agree. Third parties are just so frequent in this game. It's just a conversational topic always and forever in Apex Legends, and you want to make sure that you're very aware of them. And we saw probably, I would assume San Jose State got third party because they're really, really good about taking early fights. So if they take that early fight, they get third partied, that's typically the way they're going out here. Hopefully San Jose State has a better game number 2. And honestly, I like the Valkyrie in general on this map. I think it's a very strong pick because although there's a bunch of other rotations in this map, being able to utilize those rotations early because of how big it is very smart. And we see Weber State JV taking some early looting just like everyone else in the lobby.
And we're going to look at the mega map. You can see that at checkpoint is where the best loot is going to be. However, everyone is kind of congregating on this left half of the map. That lower right area, we only see 4 squads in total. Gale Station, it looks as though, yeah, there's some teams there, but not really anyone stationed up quickly to try and find squads. But as I'm saying, that K2 Apex coming in, gets the knock. That is already a squad gone.
Yeah, one already knocked. I told you about Katsu Apex. The way that they move in this game is just very thoroughly just confident. It's just the way you watch them versus another team, it's just a different game the way they play the game. Katsu Apex, very confident, and they look to get 2 eliminations early there. Only 1 member of this squad remaining. It's the Soaring Eagles. Giggles!
Not positive if Giggles is actually going to be able to grab the banners of their teammates, because it looked as though Katsu Apex was going to be camping that zone, trying to make it harder for the opportunity to res these two. And we're able to take a look at the mega map to see where everyone is at. As I was mentioning, not a lot of people in this lower right corner, but this left half, almost this left third of our map, you can see so many people, and Giggles up there in that upper left corner. Oh, that squad is just down to 1 remaining player. And once again, I'm trying to figure out, so we've got an upper right corner as well, just outside of Lightning Rod. 2 squads are about to start engaging on one another. Hoop Dreams as well as Diamond and Company are going to be going head to head. I wonder if we'll be able to take a quick peek at that one. But everyone else near that mid zone, especially where we see that ring marker telling us closer and closer where we're going to end up finally, they're on the edges and they're pretty far away from one another. We've got JJ Apex currently, and I think, yes, this is the squad that might start taking pressure here relatively soon.
And JJ Apex has a good fast composition, being able to utilize that crypto ultimate, you can get that EMP, and then fast engagements from both Octane and Bloodhound. You like to see it, and hopefully we see some engagements here very soon. But yeah, honestly, you see a lot of teams landing on the kind of the west side and the west-south, it's like southwest side, because of all of those bunkers that are utilized for early loot, and a lot of rotations as well. There's a lot of tridents in those areas, and so very good to see people landing in those spots. A lot of comfortability in there as well, especially Down Beast has a guaranteed spawn rate of a gold either weapon or shield, but obviously shield isn't spawning anymore in the game, so it'll be that gold weapon that your heart desires in Down Beast, and so you see a lot of teams landing there.
ULL Black decided to land around checkpoint. Has not. I don't think they've encountered anybody, and we do see we're down to 18 squads. So 2 squads are gone so far. Round 1 is only about halfway done thus far. Little, very similar to how we began our match 1, but those initial eliminations I think were more a result of just landing in a zone where it was going to be hot and not predicting where other people were going to be standing near you. And we can take a look now at our mega map. Lower left corners where some teams are starting to congregate. And unfortunately, one of them's most likely not going to continue further. And GFU, I think, is down to 2 players perhaps left standing as they're circling down over towards Keynote Cave as well.
Yeah. It's just crazy how many engagements GCU Moonlight has taken over the course of this tournament. It is insane the amount of times that they've been able to get out of weird spots, but also just the confidence that they have that no matter what team that they see on their screens, they're willing to shoot back, and they're not always prioritizing those rotations. And they have that ability to rotate whenever because of that Valkyrie that they have in their team comp. They can have those late rotates and still take advantage of it. And JJ Apex getting some fires with this L-Star, doing some damage, a potential knock. 2 people are cracked now. I mean, it's only 9 damage, but it's still, over the course of the weapon, that's a lot of damage overall to those teams. And that's a lot of shield upgrade potential for ASD. Benji.
I'm not sure if Benji's going to be able to capitalize on this. They're just kind of... This squad of JJ Apex is staying over here near Barometer, trying to stay alive and get information, probably ward off other people. We can see also, based off of the map, that the ring will start closing in this zone eventually, but they'll have some time to breathe a sigh of relief when they see the ring start to close. They're lurking in a zone where they should be able to catch out some people as they're trying to run for cover and get into safety, and it looks as though JJ Apex is choosing to rotate. They have left Barometer finally. I think perhaps, yeah, looks as though they're going to try and catch this other team off guard. Who's going to be walking out who's just walking out of this cave currently. It's GFU Esports. I thought there's perhaps only 2 players left standing, but in fact there's actually 3. 1 squad has finally been eliminated, but does GFU know they're being tailed currently?
I don't believe they know they're getting tailed, but they do know they are tailing another team as they saw that mobile blimp kind of get placed down, and they said, "Hey, we're not gonna let you get out of here unscathed." And they now start rotating in here. TK64 is getting picked off, but he's doing some damage. Xenoplays doing that damage necessary to hopefully get these shields back up for this engagement. I believe this is Southern Arc Blue. It wasn't me and Solar taking some shots on the Fresh. This is Southern Arc Blue indeed, and they're going to be taking some shots here. They got the cracked shield, but Solar is getting a little bit low here on a third party behind, or maybe a pincer from that same squad. And Solar's 1 HP in a dream, hoping not to get knocked there in a nice little corner. And this is Extremely Washed, Mubby, and Viking Cap, and this is San Jose State. And San Jose State is the team that is one of the most confident of the teams, as well as Cat U. Sorry, I've been mispronouncing that, so appreciate you guys for letting us know. Southern Arc Blue. Still healthy enough for the engagement, though.
Extremely Washed, Viking Cap, both very close to one another. I think Viking's going to manage to make it out alive A-OK, and does just that. San Jose is starting to apply pressure in this small building. It's risk versus reward. You got natural cover, but it means, once again, people can fire a lot of utility into that small space and find a lot of damage on you. Is it worth it? It's always going to be my question.
Wingman hip fire shots landing for San Jose State. And now they're getting their shields to the purple, which takes a lot of damage to get there. And Solar and his team are all low.
Oh, there's one player getting knocked. 16 squads still left standing currently. Southern Arc Blue is going to rotate into the building, looking to pick up some pressures. We have others rotating out. It wasn't me is going to escape. Extremely Washed, who's extremely low, rotating around underneath, trying to avoid getting any extra damage. Benji still standing strong on this building, has those purple shields, is undeterred by the idea of taking just a little bit of tickle damage. Says, come at me. I don't care if you know where I'm at. My aim is better than yours.
Yeah, that confidence is really strong from all the teams on this fight here. It has lasted a long time. It looks like Giggles has his squad back, but they've been knocked, and there's a lot of sunburns happening to this squadron as they got, I believe, a team knock, if not just one elimination, and they're just hoping to find more bandages here, but there's none remaining. It is not looking good for Soaring Eagles.
Okay, I know we call it like a minor sunburn in the first ring to close. However, when you're that deep inside of the ring, it is more like you're walking across the scorching sands of the desert. And unfortunately, I do not believe that squad's going to make it out alive. We're looking at Falcon, the old 8th, as well as their team. Looks as instead we're actually going to transition over back again to Southern Arc Blue, who managed to get a crack, and they're trying. This is the issue with not having. Do you want cover or do you want to give information? And I think this one person will be able to make it out alive. They might have taken a little bit of chip damage. 14 squads are now remaining. Southern Arc Blue still standing strong. All of them with purple shields. It wasn't me. Tox, Washed, currently Solar all walking in towards another squad as they see some fire happening. Here we go. It's a one-on-one or perhaps a 3-team zone in this area. We might catch a third party near the end of this engage, because when there's so much fire happening, it's bound to catch the attention of some other teams. We see that smoke go up, trying to provide cover. Fortunately, someone rounded a box, did not swing with the intent of getting fired at from above.
Yeah, really good job pressuring out enough to heal here in the Conduit passive, getting involved to keep It Wasn't Me alive. And although they have the HP advantage, they're positioned in their back turn to zone. KLRA might be rotating in behind them too. This is a tough position if you're Southern Arc Blue. They have to choose a fight here, either behind or in front, but there's no real easy answer. And Fuse trying to get involved with some pick nade damage to at least space to live here. And Solar's low for the 18th time, and he gets a shield broken onto the Conduit. But now the pincer is happening. They're getting pressure from behind. Solar goes down. It Wasn't Me is 1 HP and a dream away from death. And now it is Tox. Is he able to sustain through this fight? There's too many teams. He gets the knock. He's just trying to get the finish before they get down. And Southern Arc Blue is now the team behind them. UL Black getting the res. Extremely Washed. It's just all-out carnage here. Shadow and Extremely Washed exchanging some damage. Extremely Washed lives long enough for Viking to get involved. Shmubby and Extremely Washed. San Jose State gets all the shield swaps they need, and they are thriving now.
Truth be told, I thought Viking Cap was done. It's just super low, running in from the closed ring. I was waiting here with bated breath to see if they would manage to make it out alive. They did. We're now down to 8 squads left. We've got 55 seconds remaining for round 3. And at this point in time, during the previous round, we still had 15 teams standing. So something tells me that these teams decided to go out for blood this time. There's been a lot more exchange fire, but there was a lot more congregation on that the western side of this map. Very different than how we had map number 1. We can take a quick look at our mega map, and we can see our ring is closing closer to Devastated as well. Echo HQ doesn't have anyone around. It looks like Venom and company managed to leave out that area, but Viking Cap, Extremely Washed, you know, that squad that we just saw get that team wipe and full max level up their shields, is now engaging. That ring is shrinking in towards Hydro. They're getting pinched by the environment and another team. So Mother Nature is currently fighting you and the team in front of you.
That is not a good situation for you. And San Jose State is feeling it now, especially after just a previous squad wipe. The scenario coming out from Extremely Washed. He gets a player, and they are not happy. He gets 2, and it's just all-out carnage. Viking Cap goes down, but they're so low from the squadron. They get the wipe, and the res now happening. There's 5 squads left, and this is the squad that I told you guys is the squad that is the most confident. Movement-wise, synergy-wise, they are Himothy themselves. They are doing a really good job. But GCU Moonlight has the best positioning so far in this game, especially with that Valkyrie being able to scan that survey beacon. They know the spot to be, and it's where they currently are now in the ring. Lobaka falling off of the high ground, but is able to get back if he chooses to do so.
It appears as though there might be just a two-man squad left standing and near GCU Moonlight. And also, we're down to the final 4. 30 seconds remaining in round 4 as well. Using smoke to try and get past GCU. High ground is dangerous. You don't have cover, but it means that you have to be just dominant with your shots and ensure that you are asserting enough pressure to make sure teams can't come into your own safety zone. Using the building itself that's hard to get into as the opportunity to heal up is brilliant. Is it going to continue to work, though, is my question? Yes, they are in that final ring zone. They know where they need to be. They have the intel, but will they be able to last? They're not going to get extra equipment and ammunition from up here, so they got to be careful with their resources.
They do, but they are sitting on a lot of ammunition. The squad they just fought previous, unfortunately not on stream, but overall, they have that Loba ultimate. So they could all choose what ammos they wanted from that Loba ult and use it against that team after that team's fight. But GCU Moonlight order goes down. They had some sort of a way to get to this high ground, an Octane player, and it's now Bookworm trying to heal up as one player's knocked. He gets the shield off. A lot of shield spamming, but not a crack just yet. They're just hoping to live through this fight. Both teams have a little bit of healing happening. They're trying to walk to each other. They get finished off. Shmubby and Viking Cap. This is that San Jose State squad, I believe, taking this fight. GCU Moonlight playing around this area sensationally well. Valkyrie is the perfect player to have in this squad for this moment in time. And it looks like they close the door, hoping to get a shield battery off. Lobaka getting pincered from behind. This is not a good spot for GCU Moonlight, but Viking Cap 1 HP. If Bookworm gets this knock, it's a 1v1 scenario. He's getting pincered from behind during a reload. Will he be able to finish off the fight? And it's not them, but it is San Jose State with another squad wipe.
We're down to the final 3. This is Ring 5. Wazoo Esports, WSU, but we call them the Cougs where I'm from. Well, I think this is, yes, they just watched the bloodbath occur up there and said, nope, we don't want a part of that. We don't have the ability to get up there just yet. We'll wait for you to come to us. We're going to call it good for now.
They also did see that one of the members of San Jose State, I believe, got fully eliminated, so that is only 2 members of that squad. Oh, but they're getting respawned. Extremely Washed is now back in the game. San Jose State. They're in just a wicked good position here now. They have the bow check in hand, the best weapon that you could pick up in this game, and it's Zelf getting popped down. And this is the spot GCU Moonlight had for a reason. It is just the high ground of all high grounds, the best spot you could be in. Taking his own thermite grenade. He does not care. Viking Cap getting involved here. He got a knock earlier. But that's a lot of stun potential with that Conduit ultimate online as well. San Jose State, they're feeling sensationally strong here.
Look, San Jose said it's time for death from above, walked in, threw the thermite, ran, started to apply pressure, recognizing the fact it is San Jose State and WSU Esports left standing. And they said, okay, we're not going to wait. You're in a spot where I know where you're at. I have all the intel I need. Let me come blow you up. And so far, they've broken the shields on 2. And with that, San Jose State is going to be our champions for map number 2.
Yeah, the champions, again, we saw so many of their engagements the entire map, and they were just looking confident. They were getting some partial third parties. They were pressured out well, but overall, most of the fights were happening on their kind of pace. So they had some sort of win condition that they figured out with that Ashe, you know, the Q from the Ashe there, snaring them. They're stuck in that little graviton there, and then they're able to scale. Wow, that was really well done from San Jose State.
So we had Cat U Apex with map 1. Map 2 goes to San Jose. Will map 3 go to a team that we've already had victorious previously in the past, or will it be a new squad to rise up? Unfortunately, I'm not a fortune teller, so I can't predict that one. But we can actually take a look at some of the best moments that took place during match number 2. As a reminder, map 3 will also still be on Stormpoint, but let's take a quick look at the teams as they popped off at different points in time. Unfortunately, if you're on the receiving end of one of these guns, I apologize. We just try to make teams look cool, and that's at the expense of someone else. And also a huge shout out to Advanced GG, who are our sponsors for these highlights. If you would like to level up your gaming skill, be sure to check out Advanced GG. They have the best supplements out there to help you improve your gameplay. And we're looking at our top dogs here for match 2, San Jose State. This was early on in the game too, as you can see on the upper right corner, 17 squads remaining. So San Jose said we're bloodthirsty and we're coming out fast and we're coming out strong. I don't care if my armor is not where it needs to be or if I have the best utility that I need for this, but that means you don't either. So while I'm at my lowest, I'm gonna be better than you at yours.
I agree. Also, their shield swaps were really, really strong. They were able to get either 1 elimination or 2 within knocks early, and then they were able to shield swap, so those third parties never really occurred to them. The third parties only occur when, well, it's technically a third party regardless, but being able to utilize getting those shields from that previous fight and then scaling instantly into the next, you're only really having to worry about reloading potentially, and that's not too bad to deal with. That's only a second and a half for most of those reloads, so they end up scaling really well. But then Southern Arc Blue, again getting third-partied here. That pincer happening from their backside, it was a really tough spot to be in. And then San Jose State, extremely washed, is the person to watch out for. You see them pinging their snares. They're calling out that they're snared. That leaves such little room for movement to safe positions. They're always stuck in these awkward mid-ground spots. They also don't have the ability to rotate out. They have to stay and fight, and they have to stay and fight in their spots. So working out well there for San Jose State. And I don't know how this engagement started from them. They just got onto this high ground spot. I don't know how. And then GCU Moonlight being surprised with, unfortunately, the San Jose State squad that was feeling confident all the way up until this point.
You don't know how they got up there. GCU Moonlight obviously didn't know either. They were not prepared for this engagement. They thought they were safe. You did too. I was just watching in complete horror as this was occurring. It seems like a safe zone, but if teams know what they need to do to get up there, you are in hot water. You have to have people chronically watching. One thing to keep in mind is that is an elevated space without anything underneath it. So there is you have a 360-degree view of everything that's going on underneath you, and you're 3 players having to watch all of those degrees of view. It's borderline impossible to guarantee every angle is on lockdown, especially when they're rotating inside that building to use the natural cover provided by it to heal up and get their shields, meaning their backs are completely turned to the door, so to speak, and that is when they were jumped on. San Jose recognized when GCU needed to start healing, and 2 players, in fact, were. They were caught off guard in that moment. It's very important to make sure you have a watchdog, and unfortunately, GCU...
Yeah, they were both healing.
They did not have any watchdogs for them, and we can take a look at where everyone currently is standing after match 2. As a reminder, this is week 4. We have 2 left in the regular season, starting from 11th to 20th. It's Apex Legends Red, Lakeland University Apex, LIU Apex, JJ Apex, GU Apex, Trine University Blue, UMT Grizz Copper, USM Huskies Blue, the Soaring Eagles, and Hassan Green to be our 20th spot.
And then now in the number 1 spot, San Jose State, looking extra confident. GCU Moonlight, GFU moving all the way to the 3rd spot. Cat U Apex, WSU Esports doing wonders there as well. Southern Arc Blue, Muskingum University Black, WFU Corsonic, Weber State JV, and ULL Apex Black. A lot of
GCU,
shifting in the top 5 there.
They moved up to 2nd place! Good job, GCU Moonlight!
They are now kind of stealing the strategy of GFU and going for those placement points, especially with those survey beacons. They are the team that you know is in the center of zone after the 4th or 5th zone close. It is a really strong team to look out for, especially with that info from the survey beacons.
Mimicry is the best form of flattery. Take it as a compliment, GFU. We can take a look at where all these teams are choosing to convert. Oh my gosh. Look, okay, we know they're still in flight.
Launchpad. 2 teams landing launch pad.
But Pylon has like 4 teams at it currently.
Can't wait to see how these teams play this out then. And it looks like Wazoo looking to take a fight here, forcing these teams to maybe scale away and say, whatever you're trying to do here, you aren't customers here. This is our store, and they're gonna try to make use of this early contact pressure, as they didn't get much loot. But
Yeah.
as you said, there's a lot of teams here. Command center and all sorts of places. If they decide to W key this, though, this is the less loot they have to farm. They're just hoping the other team has enough loot, but overall, they're all just 150 damage away from that blue shield.
A lot of teams are choosing to play safe, but once again, 2 get knocked early. And keep in mind, there is a couple of 2 people only squads, and so those could be the squads that are really struggling early on. They might be actually kind of getting targeted by other teams who are like, look, I have a man advantage over you very early. If I land near you, I'm coming onto your heels immediately. It's a valid strategy, but it's something to keep in mind when you are entering a 3-person tournament with a 2-man squad. You are risking the disadvantage of having only 1 player, having only 2 players when you should have 3. Is it worth it? Sometimes it can be. If you're that confident in your gun skills, go for it. Would I personally do it? No, because I love having my teammates, even if they're bullet shields. And we have Southern Arc Blue, currently one of our higher up teams, just gathering up information as well as utility. You can see they are at those blue shields. They haven't done a whole lot. 18 squads still standing. Nothing is really happening. Teams are really slowing down now as we're looking at this crafter, picking up new shields. Weber State Junior Varsity. Looks as if they have their scope set on somebody. I'm just not positive who this team is. You can see round 1, still we've got quite some time. Finally, there it is. I'm sorry to this poor soul, but you kind of are in a dish and out in the open.
Both these teams trying to get an early engagement, and these are teams that are a little bit lower on the leaderboard, so they want to make sure that they're getting these eliminations and building that confidence towards maybe a more of a dark horse kind of comeback here and finish with a champion screen. And it looks like they're just going to decide to rotate a little bit off here. And it looks like Board Abuse and Kraber Hater, I believe they were the 2-man squad, but it looks like Hoop Dreams might be their 3rd member that finally got into the lobby here. Now, Weber State JV has the ultimate. They can engage this hard. But overall, looking to get some damage from this triple take from Kraber Hater. Ironic, nonetheless. He hates the snipers, but has one in his hands. Gonna look to sustain here. Took a lot of damage. 3 members of the enemy combatants on his screen and his screen alone. GU Apex. Might even look to use the crypto ultimate as well. A lot of ultimates are online here.
Look, hear me out. Yeah, they're a Kraber Hater, but they're using the triple take.
That is true. That is true.
It is a difference. Same family, but not quite twins. Weber State looking. This was where they initially were engaging. They were picking on this poor soul who was gathering up equipment and didn't realize that there was a team just over the hillside looking down at them. I think that team might have made it out alive, but now finally that squad is moving in, trying to claim some extra space. GU Apex is recognizing there's more people out in this flat territory. There's some rocks to hide behind. But best of luck, because with this fire coming in and how far out you are, odds of getting third-partied again, definitely in the cards.
Yeah, and Weber State and GU Apex were fighting here earlier, but then they saw and heard GCU Moonlight behind them. And now there's a crypto ultimate coming online, doing some damage to the shields. This is a time to shine for GCU Moonlight to get a third-party action here. One team had a member knocked. Now another team member is knocked. Weber State JV has to wrap up this fight as GCU Moonlight is coming in for a third party. There's 1 member remaining of GU Apex. Is it enough to sustain out here? Weber State JV also low on HP here. This is there's so many teams in this area. There's 18 squads remaining. Still, Caps Paladin going low. Travi Static also going low. Kern of Kettle just hoping to pressure out these teams. GCU Moonlight, we're trying to get involved, but it might be a little bit too late. They're going to have to survey Beacon here, find out the next rotation, and then they're going to pop that Valkyrie ultimate. Rotate maybe in front of these teams and get that pincer against the Storm. And it looks like that ultimate does come online here. Order's just trying to secure himself. And now they're going to rotate. The beautiful passive that happens from this Valkyrie ultimate scans these players, but they're kind of stuck in this mid zone where they took so much HP that they have to get some medkits happening before they decide to fight. They can't just land on those teams. No passive healing from a lifeline. They're going to have to play slow here.
I think they actually scanned that team, thought about it, and then realized, look, we've taken too much burn damage. We need to get out of here. And chose to go bypass the team, like literally fly themselves above that squad in a zone where they could pick up health, and then wait is probably what's going to be happening. Like a snake just looking for an opportunity to strike. And we're going to take a look now at Muskingum Black. So they're taking some exchange fire currently.
Just a single Shruck to deal with. They get the Horizon ultimate online. The member to the right, and I don't know if there was a Valkyrie that ulted out, but I believe it was a Valkyrie that at least tried to get out. This might be GCU Moonlight. I'm almost 90% certain this is GCU Moonlight that rotated into Muskingum Black here. And although they're low, Damo, the Lamo, Tamo the Lamo, whatever you want to say is that, is looking to help his team get some healing here. Lakeland University is getting involved, and the enemy combatants are sensationally low. Getting some pick damage there. X-Link landing some of those G7 scout shots. His teammates are well behind him, but he's saying, hey, let's engage this team. I think it's worth it. There's some loot over here. Come help me, please. And it is sadly GCU Moonlight's boxes, as you're seeing orders items on your screen.
And it looked like Bookworm as well. Did Lil Baka make it out?
Lil Baka did make it out, I believe. But it was another team that potentially... No, I don't think Lil Baka got out. They were the Valkyrie player that got knocked as well. Unfortunately, GCU Moonlight goes down there. 14 squads left. 37 total remaining here. And I would love to take a look at the mega map after this fight engagement. And UL Black has one member out, but they're still looking to pressure out here with this Nemesis.
Round 2 still has 90 seconds in it, and we are at the lowest amount of squads we've seen in round 2 at 14, I believe. Actually, no. Previously, it was 8 squads, so not as much of a graveyard.
Loaded lobby. There was 18 squads remaining after like the second zone closed, so they were keeping this lobby stacked, and then all these teams were thinking, I would love some eliminations here. And it looks like GFU Esports trying to scan, get some information, and just let's eliminate a flyer. Let's get our shields up here. 2 purple shields and a blue, not too shabby for their team here. Looks like they're getting shot out from a high ground location. They're gonna have to figure out if this is a worthy engagement or if they just play the placement style that they're traditional of. But they haven't been doing recently. The last week we didn't see them in a lot of finals situations, and especially this week we haven't seen them outside of a top 6 squads or top 8 maybe. And even then they're getting eliminated right at that cusp before those placement points start really mattering.
Well, thankfully, they did, if you're looking from the player and coach perspective in this instance, they were top dogs long enough and received those placement points in our first couple of weeks that they have a strong safety net. However,
they do.
You can't only rely on that, so the things that are going wrong last week, going wrong this week, you should probably start rectifying. If somehow a team has taken your strat and they're doing it better than you, and they're taking the spot you want to be at, make your strategy better. What's your missing piece? It can always be improved. As we have San Jose State, our previous map winners, raining some fire down from above. We are currently just outside Barometer, so we can see almost the entirety of our circle where our next ring's gonna close, and there's gonna be a lot of space removed. However, just being at the
Still
edge of that
squads-
Barometer zone will be
squads
okay.
remaining. I love seeing a high number of squads remaining in a small zone. There's gonna be so
just
many
thrive on
fights that are gonna
chaos?
happen. I thrive on chaos. I love
Oh my
to see it.
gosh.
And so I am so excited to see how the zone plays out. There's like 2 teams at high ground locations. There's 2 teams below them. There's just all-out carnage here, and then Giggles. Their team's just having a blast over there in the top north side there. No real pressure yet. There's a potential third party towards this north or south side of Pylon.
Oh, San
And
Jose
now
State is
GFU
currently
is
taking
fighting.
fire. Yeah.
And that's, I believe, a squad wipe for GFU. But now there's a potential third party. That high ground location of San Jose State, I believe it was Cat U that went... No, it wasn't. I am proven wrong instantly. Cat U, Apex is now this team that's firing onto GFU. Potentially San Jose State went down? I don't know.
I think it was San Jose. I saw them on the mega map taking fire. Can we actually, as we've got these teams kind of running for cover and healing up, take a look at that mega map one more time, just for a quick flash here? I want to see where everyone's standing. We're aware. We're encroaching on the top of the 2Bs here, where these 2 rivers meet. Yeah, San Jose is currently, I believe they're down, but we have, I want to say this is... Their name has blue in it. I forgot. It wasn't me. Solar, Extremely Washed, Viking Cap, and Shmoo all down here, right at the edge of the zone, starting to exchange fire. Someone's gonna get eliminated, and then Infamous and company, who's just to their left on the Barometer Tower, most likely is witnessing this firsthand and coming in to play third party.
Let's try to take a look at that fight. If Solar and that Extremely Washed team are fighting, if we have that ability, that would be huge. GFU Esports is partially engaging a team here, though. They're trying to get involved as soon as they can. And it's a wingman in the hands of Goat Eats Grass. And a Mozambique. Mozambique! I
cannot believe you just said that. GFU playing like rats. Look, I know they won't take that offensively, but just for clarification, I'm not insulting them. We have one player, it's TK64, who's willing to take the high ground and be the eyes and ears for the rest of their team on that Bloodhound. As we do see, you got Diamond, Watson, and X-Elf rotating outside, crouching down, using natural cover, I believe, trying to lurk a little bit, get the intel, who's your next target, who's low, but they did take some damage.
Already. They
Someone
rotated
spotted
right
them.
into another team. And so that's a fight in the trees here, and GFU is thinking, hey, is that a full squad wipe? We're happy to take a third party here in the trees here, but they know their positioning is a good spot to be nonetheless, but they're going to decide to party it, and they do have the Bangalore ultimate online. This might be the perfect spot to utilize it. Getting a scan, they know it's only one squad, and they just got a wipe, and wingman shots are kind of hitting, not too much. And it's WSU! They did not get the sustain they needed. They're now getting pressured from multiple sides here. They have to figure out a way to work it out. The alternator getting involved and the Bangalore ultimate getting involved. I mean, they're just trying to use as much natural cover as they can. Now GFU's in a tough spot. They were getting pincered just earlier, but Diamond and Zelf are living
what squad
enough.
Just ran in?
They did. It's Musk. And Burr. And Link.
Musk and Burr decided to third-party GFU, and Wazoo said, we out, and they escaped. As GFU was too hell-bent on getting that squad wipe, they didn't know they were being watched. They got baited.
They got baited into that fight indeed, and now GFU is immediately going to squad wipe Wazoo here. They didn't even engage that fight with anything other than TK64's ultimate. They had the Bangalore ultimate for that potential third party, and it was utilized fully well by GFU.
Wazoo's
now
still standing.
Between San Jose State
right there.
or sorry, not Wazoo then, it's Wazoo and San Jose State now fighting here, and they're all low. San Jose State I believe, just got eliminated by Wazoo. And Wazoo rotated perfectly there. They got out just in time.
I told you. They saw the third party coming, and they used it as a distraction to make it out alive. They said, "See
and they
ya,"
said, I'm
and
out.
left.
They said, I'm out for sure.
I can't take that heat. It was Muskingum Black, also one of our squads is Travis. What you doing? Are you going for the placement points here, my friend? I think Travi Static is alone. Probably just gonna be playing boulder to boulder. I support it.
You know, bouldering is fun. You know, in Apex, I don't know about the bouldering situation, but maybe the holds are nice. Who knows? 3 squads left, though, and there's 7 total people remaining. Wazoo Esports and I believe GFU are the big squads, and there's that one Travi Static remaining for his squad, trying to get those last placement points, at least get top 2, or maybe even if they're low enough, gets the champion squad. And
look, our one lurker is in the top 3.
And WSU. He is
and
hoping.
And Travi.
Yeah,
and Travi.
Travi
is
the
top
last
3.
remaining of his squad. He is top 3. He got the placement points. And a knock! He gets the knock on his Zelf. This is the time to push if you're GFU. And they're fighting here now. Arcstars coming out. Nice little crack shields from Godey's Grass. And now another finish. Mozambique getting involved to try to finish off this last remaining player. And I believe that's a squad wipe. They are now the kill leader, TK64. Here's that Bangalore ultimate. But there's still one remaining player from WSU. I believe it is the knocked
it's just
player.
Travi. Oh wait, there is.
Travi. No, it
it's
is
Travi
WSU.
and
Watson and Travi are getting involved
Oh,
here
no!
and getting some shots. They're fighting each other, and it is GFU, the champion squad. I told you guys they're gonna take it, and they did. Good job from them. But overall, I mean, that was crazy positioning. They only utilized one ultimate between engagements, and they were able to have other ultimates to either disengage or to re-engage another team and always have something as an advantage there. Really good job from GFU.
Travi is my MVP. I just, how long you sat there and lurked and were like, I've got blue shields. They all have purple. I'm in the top 3 squads. Maybe I can just like assist someone and just pepper some damage. You're gonna figure out where I'm at while I do this assist, and then you'll come kill me. That's fine. But lurking as long as you did, and I'm pretty sure we actually witnessed Travi's teammates fall relatively early. To still live and not get noticed that long, hats off to you. Congratulations
good job
on that.
him. Yeah, he ended up getting the top 3 there. That's as strong as you can do when you're 1 squad remaining. And unfortunately, he was wishing on it for sure, but he was hoping that the teams that fought, that they had more knocks happening. But GFU fully squad wiped so quickly. He had no reason other than to fight and just hope that he got some pick damage, and then Watson gets the elimination on him. Really, really good job overall.
Look, at least Watson honored the 1v1, and it was only Watson fighting in that instance.
Yeah.
But we can take a quick look at the replays, which are brought to us by Advanced GG, the best gamer supplements out there. Be sure to check them out if you want to up your gaming game. As we have Weber State Junior Varsity. This was early on in the match.
This was the team with Travi Static.
Yeah, yes! They lost 2 very early. Travi, I don't know how you lived. I wish we had like a tracker where we could just literally watch the pathing of the players as like a line progressing as the story's being told. And like the hero's journey in The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
just
hero's journey.
Where Travi lurked the entirety of this series, because holy cow, that was so early to lose your team. You're brave. You are a very brave soul, and I commend you. And we can take a look at GFU Esports, our map 3 winners. This was when they went in to pressure WSU, and then they themselves got pressured by another team as Wazoo made their heroic exit, utilizing the opportunity of the distraction provided by this attempted third party. Ended up working in GFU's favor nonetheless. They attacked one squad, got attacked by another, ended up getting the squad wipe on the secondary aggressors into their zone.
And it was a big ultimate from Godey's Grass, and some nice wingman shots as well.
And then the strength of the Bruins, that's a bear by the way, ended up being stronger than that of a cougar, which is what Wazoo Esports, their mascot's a cougar.
definitely the Bruin Bears. I mean, they said RAR, and it worked out well in their favor. WGFU. Honestly, I would say that the plays that TK64 made with his ultimate there early, and then Goat Eat Grass getting a lot of wingman shots here, those headshots are just so much damage if you're landing them, and he ends up landing them when it came time and came due to make sure that those were landing, and then ended up winning that map number 3. Good job finishing strong from them. They had a rough start and a rough couple of weeks leading up into that point. Hopefully this is a momentum builder. And maybe we see some more dark horses, like you've mentioned before, kind of scale up, make some potential last little rings up to get some placement points, or points at least that lead into the finals week.
And speaking of those placement points, I'm pretty sure we can take a look at our leaderboard coming out of match number 3 here in just a moment, so we can see where everyone is going to be. As a quick reminder, this was week 4 of 6. We have 2 left, and we are going to be returning to this same map next week, and then after that we're going back to Olympus, which was the map we had at week 3. So our halfway point is also our ending point, which is a little interesting. We did start on Kings Canyon with this journey and never made a return to Kings Canyon. Whether or not that sits well with you, it's up to you. If you're PT, you might be a little sad because you really enjoy Kings Canyon. And we can take a look at our lower half of our 20 squads here. It is Lakeland University Apex, Apex Legends Red, LIU Apex, JJ Apex, GU Apex, Trine University Blue, UMT Grizz Copper, USM Huskies Blue, Soaring Eagles, and Husson Green. That is places 11 through 20 respectively for our third map. And this is the total points that they have for the season thus far.
And then your top 10 squads, that's San Jose State. That is 106 eliminations to just absolutely blow out the competition. Then GFU Esports, GCU Moonlight, Cat U Apex, WSU Esports, Southern Arc Blue, Muskingum University Black, Weber State JV, WFU Corsonic, ULL Apex Black. And that is a mighty lead within those top 5 teams. There is 50 points separating them, if not over 100.
San Jose was kind of lurking in that mid of the top 10, not quite being, the look at me team, GFU, but was prominent enough early on to know that they were a threat. However, this week they said, okay, we're past the halfway point. Let's show them what we really got. And getting the map win and then just so many elimination points. That was incredible. GFU notoriously in the early weeks, we saw that they would not come in with a lot of squad wipes or a lot of kills in general. They would just wait to get that top placement and wait for the 3v3, which is fine. But at the end of the day, kill points are still important. So San Jose has been maintaining this zone of being in that fifth place, sixth place area, and then all of a sudden explodes to that top spot because they've been consistently getting eliminations. And so this week, we're really going to show you what we can bring to the table. The question is, will they be able to do that next week, or did they bring out, did they pull out the magic cards a little too soon? Now everyone knows what their strategy is. We'll have to wait and see. And as we close out this broadcast, PT, do you have any final thoughts regarding how things went today?
I am just thankful that we saw some more Apex Legends gameplay. It seemed like last week it was too long ago, and so I'm excited to get more involved. And that's honestly, even though Kings Canyon was the map that I played back in beta and whatnot, that's my favorite map. So this week has been sensational to watch and see all these players play again. It's been eventful.
Well, as a quick reminder, we had Stormpoint for our maps today, and it's going to be Stormpoint next week. And honestly, PT, the funny thing is, so many people I know have been complaining that Kings Canyon doesn't get enough love and that it's pulled immediately out of rotation and that it didn't get enough love most recently, right before it got yoinked out again. But I'm not in charge of the map rotations. I get to talk about them. So hopefully teams are able to learn a lot from this week as we progress into week number 5, and then we're going to make a return to Olympus. So I get to see a recap with a slight twist, new game plus, so to speak, from week 3 to week 6, because I was sick last week. I'll be able to repeat that journey in our week 6. So be sure to join us at the same time next week on Tuesday for more ECAC Apex. It'll be our second to last week of our regular season, and then we're going to be progressing into playoffs after week 6. Those top 15 spots, super important. If you missed anything here, want to know where people are as far as that leaderboard goes, be sure to check out the ECAC Twitter page at ECAC_esports. But from all of us here as part of the ECAC broadcast and the esports family here in the Apex Enjoyers, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next week. Tune in tomorrow for, I believe it's Overwatch. here on ECAC. I could be wrong. I'll verify that and check it for next week. But there's plenty of more esports action on this channel. We'll see you next time, and stay happy, stay healthy, and have a good evening.